Hey, what's up, guys? It's Luke, and you're watching Luke the Gathering. Thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks for hanging out with me for a few minutes while I talk about today's Friday Night Magic Chaos Draft. Another Chaos Draft. Last week I had to attend a wedding. It was a great wedding, but I missed Friday Night Magic. Yeah, it was a Friday night wedding. Those are pretty rare, but had a great time at that. But I hate missing Friday Night Magic. It's just so much fun. Glad to be back this week. We did a Chaos Draft, and it was basically 3 sets. We did Kamigawa, Crimson Vow, and Call Time. So those were the 3 sets that were in this Chaos Draft. The way it was ran was we did Call Time first. Everyone opened their Call Time packs, and then everyone opened the Crimson Vow packs, and then Kamigawa came at the end. And so it was less chaotic than my last experience at a Chaos Draft. So it was interesting in that regard. But I'm happy to report my deck went 2-1. So a nice record in terms of hopefully we're improving in terms of Magic. But here's the deck, and I'm going to share it with you and talk about how it did, and some of the things that it did well, and some of the things that it didn't. So let's check out this deck together right now. Okay, well, here is the deck, and we're starting here with a snow-covered swamp. Obviously, this is from Call Time. They had the snow lands in Call Time, and I did have some snow payoffs, and I think when you draft Call Time, you can think of, hey, am I going to have a snow payoffs deck? Am I going to, have some snow-based effects that are important? You can't really do that here because you're really only getting 1 out of 3 cards being from Call Time, and so trying to be a very specific snow deck would not work. However, I did draft this one because I was in black and blue, and also drafted Shimmer Drift Veil, which is a great card. It's just a common, but it does let you choose the color you want it to come in as, and it came in super clutch because I oftentimes had actually this card in hand and another basic land like an island or a swamp, and it just allowed me to choose the correct color that I needed, and that was absolutely great. This card was a game saver, really. I love this card. It did really well, and it was a snow land, so it worked for my snow payoffs. Moon Snare Specialist. I like this one a lot. This is from Kamigawa, and you can ninjutsu it in. I never did that, but I did play it to bounce creature back to my opponent's hand, and that came in really nicely. Biolumeg. This is something that can transform into a 4/4. However, I never got it to transform. I have a couple of sack outlets. The only way this thing transforms is if you sacrifice it, and it just never happened for me. So I was sad about that, so I never saw the side of it. The Biolume Serpent, unfortunately. Binding Geist. This was actually a really nice little creature for me. This one came out quite often, and I'll get to shout out the cards that actually came into play more often than not. The Binding Geist, a 3/1, so if it does hit, hits for 3, which always feels nice when you hit for 3, much better than 2 or 1, obviously. Augury Raven. I actually drafted 3 of these. Look at that. 3 Augury Ravens. And these actually did a nice job. They come in for 2 on the foretell, and then they can come in again. So often I was stuck on 2 mana, barely 3 mana at the beginning of the game. I don't know what was going on with my mana sources today. I was playing 16 lands. Sure, it's 1 less, but man, some of those games, the mana was just extraordinarily tight. And of course, the games that weren't tight, they were, I was flooded, unfortunately. But the Augury Raven, I thought was good, did well for me. Good card, not great, but good. Moon Circuit Hacker put in a lot of work for me. Ninjutsu's in for 1, and then you can draw a card off of that. Really cool. Network Disruptor also was a game winner for me, because when ETBs, you can tap a target permanent. And I have a lot of tapping or bouncing type cards being in blue, and I tried to use that to a big advantage. I think it worked. Innocent Traveler, great card. Never transformed to the 3/3. There was once when my opponent was like, "Hey, is that flying?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is flying." And they're like, "Oh, okay, never mind. I'm just gonna do what it says so that it doesn't transform." And yeah, it didn't put in too much work, but it was a threat, which I thought was good. Removal is always important in limited. However, I never drew this card in my hand. I never saw it at all. Hero's Downfall. Mindless Ghoul I saw quite a bit. I never really used the exploit. It was always just a 2/2 that I needed on the battlefield. Sometimes you just need these 2/2s out there, and so he did fine. Bleed Dry, 4 cost, a CMC removal spell. I think it's good. It's an instant, so that's good. I feel like it is a little expensive, but it did its job. I had 2 of these. I took one out because I thought I didn't need one of them. Elderfang Disciple was great. This was great sacrifice fodder for me if I could exploit it. And it also made the opponent discard a card from their hand. So that was great to do. Grim Draugr. This was my snow payoff. You pay 1 in a snow and gains menace and +1/+0. That actually made a difference in the game, which I really appreciated. So I had 2 of these guys, I think. Yeah, there's the other one. There we are. Demonic Gifts. It was a trick. This was not initially in the deck. Came in later. I'm glad I put it in because I put it to really good use. It gives your creature the ability to return back to the battlefield if it dies. Plus it you just can win combat since it's getting +2/+0. So really nice little instant effect there. Clawing Torment also took out a lot of enemies. A lot of 1 toughness creatures just died to this, and if they were bigger, I could kind of neutralize them and keep making them lose life on their upkeep. And those things made a difference. Little things make differences. I don't think my deck was particularly mind-blowing or had tons of synergies. My first opponent had tons of synergies, and I was getting mana screwed or flooded, depending on which game you're talking about. And they were just able to take over, and that was the one loss I had. But here's a Bloodsky Berserker. Really cool, because it only costs 2, and if you get another chief spell out there, you can get 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Makes it a nice threat. My Rottide Gargantua was my late game threat. Actually did a really nice job in the late game for me when I needed it to. So this was a good card. This was great. Inventive Iteration. First of all, someone told me this is the alternate art version. I didn't realize that at first. But returning cards to their owner's hands, bouncing them, getting things back from the graveyard for me, and then turning into a 3/3 flyer was not a joke. I'm so glad I picked this one up. Reality Chip. The best thing this thing actually was doing was blocking as an 0/4. Looking at the top card of the library at any time wasn't the best thing. Every time I equipped it to something, they would kill it. So yeah, 0/4 was its best job. And I did give it a +2/+0 at once, and then, although that did get countered, so didn't do a whole lot. March of Swirling Mist was actually a game-winning card for me. We were down to, he had 4 life and I had 3. He sent all his attackers at me. I exiled all his creatures. And that left him open, and I just swung in and I won the game. That's how I won round 3. Fun play, instant speed, phasing out not myself, but my opponent, and then on the crackback, game was over. So, very cool. And pick one was Blood on the Snow. Not the best, I don't think, especially, it's a snow payoff kind of card, but it is a board wipe. It didn't help me, actually, honestly, that much. I did use it a couple times to just very minor effect. Here are some of the cards I have in my sideboard. We got Acquisition Octopus. This was actually in the deck a little while. Wedding Security, same thing. Blood Fountain, I really wanted in. I thought maybe, am I going to have some blood payoffs? And not really. Vampire's Kiss, didn't do a whole lot. Here's my other Bleed Dry that was in the deck until I took it out. I was drafting just a few red cards. Spell Pierce was a card I really wanted in the deck. Didn't make it. Ecologist's Terrarium. Also just didn't make the cut. And Network Terminal. Some of the cards I wanted in there. Tameshi, I was able to get as rare. Siphon Essence, Frostbite. Things I just couldn't put in. in terms of what did I win, I did get this promo pack, which had an offer you can't refuse, Cut the Profits, and Pithing Needle. And as you can see, there's the Planeswalker symbol there, which means it's sort of a promo card. And then since I had 2 wins, I picked Strixhaven to get the cards out of. And I ended up getting, let's see if I can find the rares here. We got to Claim the Firstborn. We got this nice Vine Glimmer Snarl, which is kind of a nice dual land. We got the Gift of Estates and Academic Probation, which reminds me, oh, and Quandrix Command, but Academic Probation reminds me of the time I was in college. Don't ask. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. Thanks for sticking to the end and listening to me ramble about Friday Night Magic. Had a great time. Can't wait till the next one. And till then, I hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you next time.